Hey, what is going on, Aman?
All good, brother. How are you?
How you doing, brother?
All good. Just wearing my earphones and all, setting up the system.
Awesome, man.
So, how's it been the whole month of January, the new 2021? How's it been?
Year 2021, right? Well, we realize sometimes our New Year resolutions start to fade away. So we're like, uh-oh, let me step in here, right? I don't want this to be another year. I'm in university and I'm talking to people about something I've talked to you about, financial education.
I took a long break from social media. I just stopped everything. I was just, regrouping myself where I'm right now, what I should do in future and, everything with my schedule was so tight. I was like, I don't have a single second, to give anything else. Like I need to make my own time. So I, revisited everything of my area. I just checked everything. I'm just completing my graduation. I'm just, finishing up my college this year. And trying something new. So I thought this is the perfect time to start, put effort, put full complete focus on my business that I wanted to be, create. As a podcast, I wanted to speak with people. I can really connect with others. So I thought this is the best way I can do this. I started my own YouTube channel and all that stuff. So Stephen, the plan is that the system will be same. I would be asking you some question. You can ask me some question, but this would be more like a story type, thing. I really want like people to connect with you, the audience to connect with you, because you as a person has started something from scratch. You studied software and you're now, pursuing the financial codes and stuff. I have learned so much about financial from you, what to do and what not to do. So that would be some stuff that would be heading out. And we were talking about how was your life from your childhood to your adulthood, and what kind of situation you face, because your parents are a migrant to US, if I'm not wrong. So that kind of situation, and does when you were a child, do you face some racism issue or bullyism? Does other student or kids bully you because you were migrant? Because I think English is not a first language, right? So I thought that maybe this is the perfect thing. Start with you. You are a new coach, and man, I just want the first I wanted to target was my friends like you, Scarlett, even Joey also. Joey is doing some great stuff. I'm seeing in her Instagram and his Instagram, both Joey's Instagram too. They are doing stuff. So I thought that it's best to start with friends and stuff. So
there you go, man.
If you're ready, then we can continue. We can start the process and everything.
So I'm the first guest of the podcast, huh?
Yeah,
Let's do it, man. I'm happy to be the first one.
Yep.
So I feel privileged. Thank you, Aman, for calling me. If I feel privileged and blessed, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak and tell my story.
Okay. So Steph, how was your day? It's starting in US. So how's the day going?
Yeah. My day, so it's a Saturday for me, and I don't know, for some reason I love waking up on Saturdays earlier, because it's not a weekday, so there's not a lot of this craziness going on. But today I woke up at about 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm taking cold showers in the morning, and today was a day where I did not want to take a cold shower. It was a day when I woke up, I was like, no, it's too cold. But I went and I did it because that's something that I push through every day, because some other successful person would do this like this. So why can't I do it? And I went in, took a cold shower, started my day off there. Had an amazing actually talk with someone else before you, and I connected in that way. They're actually from my country where I immigrated, very close to that. They live in Germany, in Europe. And I'm just excited to be able to talk to you here, tell my story, share my story, and excited to really get to know, and excited for everyone to hear me, who's listening to this.
Awesome, man. It's a privilege of mine that I invited you as my first, and you accepted to be my first guest of this podcast. Like, this idea started with us just having a simple casual talk that I wanted to start a YouTube channel one day, and then we are doing this. So, Stefan, my first question with you is like, how was your childhood? Like, what stuff you faced in your life, how you are right now, and how you became a person that you are right now?
Wow. First of all, thank you for a very good question. Something that I don't remember last time someone asked me that, but it's so nice to reflect on really my whole life. So I was born in a city called Kruševac. It is in a country of Serbia, Serbia. Serbia is a country in southeastern Europe, very, very close to Greece, very close to the Mediterranean Sea. I was born there, August 24th, 1998, my birthday. And I've spent my first years of childhood in the same house as my parents and my grandparents. We sort of lived in the same house all together. My grandparents, since they also had they lived in the United States also, and for a sense they were kind of going to the United States for some time, then coming back. There's already this connection of in the United States and maybe moving to the United States someday. But as a kid, I grew up in Serbia. So first thing I remember about myself is I had a childhood friend. His name is Vuk, V-U-K, three-letter name. I don't talk to him anymore. I haven't talked to him in years. He's also moved from a different country, but that was really a time for me where it was like I found my best friend. That was my first best friend ever. And even before that, I went to kindergarten, and I remember forming relationships there. It was kind of easier, when I kind of think about it right now, it was easier forming relationships as a child than it is as an adult because of just some maybe either shyness that you feel. And I'm an introvert, but I didn't even discover that about myself when I was a kid, right? Because I was talking to people. I still think as a kid I was an inch or deep within myself. I didn't recognize that. I wasn't conscious about that, but I talked to people. So that was my first friend. Then I went into first grade. 7 years old. That was my first grade. That was the time where I enrolled in school, and from the first moment, right, when I enrolled in school, I was getting all A's. I was getting all A's. I was being a good student. Academics was pretty much my priority as a kid. That like I loved. And what I loved is I loved the hustle of getting an A. I love learning also. I love learning. I loved history, geography, math, which I'm going to talk about math more, my favorite subjects, but really started from there. Always get A's, and I spent 5 years in Serbia as a student. Never gotten a B. All A's, if you look at my transcript, all A's, like perfection. It's like kind of what I strive for. I think as a kid, I strived for perfection in school, as really as a child. And really, maybe around age 10, I discovered math. I really loved math. I really love solving problems. I really love when somebody gives me a challenging problem. I would spend hours, if I can't, to solve a problem, certain problems. And because in math, math is a thing where you either get the answer or you don't, the final answer. You can think, it's kind of black or white. You can think of how to get the final answer, but in the end, if you don't get the final answer, you don't get the points, right? So that was the goal, right? That was the goal of getting that final answer. And when I was 10 years old, I went to my first math competition. It was a school competition. It was a competition in school among other students, among other kids in math. It was kind of like people who are good in math. It was a test, 5 problems, 100 points. You can get up to 100 points. First competition I went to, 100 out of 100. I got 100 points. So first, like whatever. First, other people got 100 points too. So I was sharing first place with other people. I discovered this passion for math. That was kind of like maybe it's the weird way to think about it, but it's kind of like my first love to think about it. Like it's the first thing I loved. It's the first thing I had passion for. Took out from there. Went to another contest. This was more like district. This was more like more schools. Got 100 out of 100 again. That was great. That was like when I was 9 years old, 10 years old. From that point, my teacher recommended me that I go visit this another teacher who is teaching advanced math and for people who want to compete in math. So my parents enrolled me there, and I went to this guy. There's a couple students there where I was enrolled in like math competition, practicing for math competitions. Believe then that was my fourth grade, I believe. Wasn't 100 points, but I think my first school was maybe like second, third place. Then a district was like second, third place. Then I went to regional. Like in fourth grade, you can even compete to like more and more schools. Won the first place there, right? Then went to fifth grade. In fifth grade, in fifth grade I think I was second. In sixth grade, so when I was 12, I moved to the United States. Math back then, looking at it, man, when I was spending my years in Serbia, math was a big part of my life. Also was soccer. In Europe, they call it football, but I started playing. That was also one of my passions as far as sports and competitiveness. I started playing football, soccer when I was 7, 8 years old. And then my friend inspired me. My friend was so good. He's actually a professional right now in Serbia. He plays professional football, but I played with him. He inspired me to be a good player and really to compete against him. So I guess that level maybe of competition, which I'm not sure if I kind of that level of competition I've reframed right now, but that level of competition kind of instilled in me as a child. And that's how I moved to the United States. I played soccer, loved soccer, played soccer here. Remember my first semester here in the United States, I have gotten, I think, like A's and B's. I wanted to get all A's. But my first like English class, I got a C+, which is like 80 out of 100. And I didn't know, like, I went to English. In Serbia, I went to private English lessons. But when I came here to America, I was like, okay, I thought I knew English. I don't know English. And I need to start from scratch because I didn't speak it. And like my teacher was like, holy cow, you went from not knowing one word of English to now in like 3 months, you're getting 80 out of 100. There are people here who are American who are getting like, worse grades than you. But that's how it happened. And I think next semester I had all A's, or like next year I had all A's. And I think that was the last time where I had all A's. From grade 7, there was a point in my life where I kind of explored myself personally. And that notion of that importance of getting all A's in school kind of faded away. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that I know that it is not all about, and at the end of the day, it doesn't come down to just academic performance, which is what I was instilled as a kid. There's many other things that kind of explore my personality. I kind of explore what I like to do, when that's kind of that age, the teenager age, like 13, 14, 15. Continue to play soccer. And yeah, it really started from there. I guess also something I want to mention is there was a feeling of me when I immigrated. Nobody was ever racist to me or anything like that. I never felt some sort of racism or violence or judging against me. But there was maybe a sense of feeling like a foreigner within a few years. I kind of felt like a foreigner and kids accepted me, maybe just me, but I really didn't like. I kind of spoke to children and to students in school, but then outside of school, I didn't really have many friends. It was kind of more in school what happens. I didn't connect with people outside of school. And, when I really think about it, some of those kids have known each other since they were like 2, 3. They're like neighbors, right? Maybe this was also my ego. I I guess because I was 12 and when I came here, I had to adopt a new country to a new language. I guess there was that sense of maturity within me that I consider myself more mature than my peers, and other people considered me as more mature. So there's maybe a little ego in me of like, I don't need to talk to these friends because they're not as mature as I am. In that sense, but there was a feeling of foreigner because sometimes a lot of people would just classify me as Serbian, the Serbian kid from another country, right? Which I didn't take as discrimination. I took it more as a fueling fire for me to do better things in life, to prove to them that I'm worth what I am as a kid. Nowadays, now that I feel like no, I don't have to prove anything to anyone. The only person I have to prove something to is the yesterday version of myself. I'm not competing against anybody other than myself in the way I think about it. But back in the days, I guess there was a little like fueling fire that was instilled upon me when people were like, "Hey, Stefan the Serbian, right? Stefan the Serbian, the foreigner kid." So that's really a little bit about my upbringing and where I am today.
Awesome, man. Awesome. I feel so much connected with you right now. Like the thing you shared, I was like, I feel like we are so similar from day one. We have talked from last year. Like I've connected with you more than anyone. We have been in conversation for past more than 1 year, I guess. And one thing that I have seen and that I have understand that I was a complete introvert on the first day when we first started to talk on this video call meetings that we used to do. So I was like very shy person. I don't know what to talk on the first day. I was like the front camera, the camera was off and everything. I think I started to grow because you guys were really friendly with me. That was like for me, since India follow British education system and the British English language completely. So we have to follow the British culture completely. Like the English in India is, what we should say that it's a version of British only. Like we are kind of British Indian only. We are not 100% Indian because then we should be speaking Hindi, our mother tongue, in our schools all. But in Indian school, you will see that English are much more requested. Like I think India is the second largest country who speaks English, like after UK, England after all. So when I was in like my first standard till from nursery, from when I see myself from kindergarten to 12th standard of my school life, I was a very shy person. I really doesn't like to talk to anyone. I was like, who cares who to talk? I never studied. Like you score A's. I don't know. I never wanted to pay attention to my study. I feel like whatever I'm studying is not going to help me in future. That's what my thing is. Like what I will study here won't help me to pursue my degree that I wanted to select. And when I graduated from standard 12th, I completed my school. Then my father told me to pursue engineering. Like it's an Indian family. Either you should be an engineer or you should be a doctor. And for me, it was an engineering. But doctorate is like a whole new level of stuff if you want to be a doctor. So my parents told me to be an engineer. Like, okay, I went there. I stayed there for 2 years and nothing, productive or good happened with me. So that time I took a break. For 1 year, I just stayed at home. I just looked at myself like who I am right now. I don't even, there was a moment of time where I was not able to recognize myself, who I am. Like, who is this person? I just look into my mirror and just say, who is this person? I don't know him. Like, he was fat, chubby kid, like more than 100 kgs of weight I put on at the time. I was like literally lost. Like, where am I? What I'm doing in this world? And then my mom told me like, what do you want to do? She asked me like, just forget everything that happened in the past. What do you want to do? That I want to do something that is productive for me. That I want to do something that will help me in future. Whatever I do, I just want to do something for me. So for 1 year, I stayed at home. I worked out completely, just transformed myself. I don't want to be a chubby kid who was joining a new university again for studying. I started journalism. And as you said, that it takes time you to grow, It takes time for you to grow. As you said, like For you also, it was like, you have the passion when you joined, when you came to US. Like, he's a Serbian kid. You wanted to make your own name and your own place where you can stand your chest up, like you're not looking down at your own self. I want to be like that. So that was my journey. Like, I feel like we are so connected, but there's this one point, like, I wanted to ask you, like, you said that you were an introvert child when you were a kid, and now you're like the most frank person I've ever met in my life, buddy. Like, I have never seen someone who talked so frankly with someone, who never hesitate to hide something, who like give every support to someone who needs help. Like, I needed help in this, you supported me. So like, I want to ask you, what did you do to transform yourself from introvert to who you are? So what you did, what process you faced, what changes you brought? Did you eat something new, or did you just pushed up all the things?
Good question. Great question. I think really looking at myself right now in this exact moment, right? I'm still an introvert. And I'm a person that I want to have a smaller community of friends. I don't need to be friends with everyone, right? I more value deeper connection, right? With you, Aman, with other people that I talk to, a deeper connection between a relationship when I talk to someone versus like just talking to someone just to talk with someone, right? Part of that is also I try to value my time. I try to value other people's times. I think something that helped me in a sense, and this was recent, right? Because I was also, I guess, looking in college, I was also an introvert. I was shy in certain moments, but I think something that really helped me in April of last year, so we're talking April 2020, something called the High Performance Training Program. And it was a guy named Richard Y, who has that sort of program still in place, and I'm a part of it. I think that really something helped me was get that sense of structure within my life. Structure, clarity, productivity, high performance within my life that I was lacking. I was lacking in college because there was that sort of, I was always procrastinating. In college, I was procrastinating a lot on my projects, on my ideas, on my homework, on a lot of things. A lot of times I wouldn't take action. A lot of times I would be shy to go in and talk to people in organizations, right? I would, although that's kind of, I did do that, but I would be like shy to ask for permission a lot. Like a lot of times I would ask for permission to ask someone something or anything like that. I didn't have that sort of confidence and clarity. That's something I think really instilled me from him. Something that I'm gonna be very thankful to him. Something that he instilled within me. And to be very honest here, we've known each other because of that program. We got to know each other because of that program. In that sense, when
it was the first ever masterclass, the free masterclass. I remember.
I remember, yeah.
It was so crammed up, dude. Like everyone wanted to join that meeting somehow. I remember, like there was people who were trying countless of time but not able to join. I somehow joined after 10 minutes. I remember that. Like, and Joey suddenly sending that group link, and we all started to get inside of the group.
Something that I also remember. I think I registered for the first masterclass. I couldn't get in because I think what happened is there was like 2,000 people, and his Zoom only had a capacity of like 5,000 people, 500, and he couldn't put people in. So then he was like, "Okay, let's do it next week," right?
Yep.
And I remember. I think it was like 1:00 for me that day. I think I woke up at like 12:45. I woke up 15 minutes before that masterclass. And the way I think about it, my man, if I snoozed, well, I did snooze that day because I woke up at 12:45, right? If I even snoozed more, if I like woke up at 1:30, 2:00 that day, which is like super late, I wouldn't have enrolled in that program. I wouldn't have met you. we wouldn't be doing this podcast. None of this would have happened. Like if I just snooze for another 50 minutes. I don't know. It was faith. It was being grateful. It's like a moment where things happen for a reason. I truly believe things happen for a reason. And from there on, I really, there's a time where in between that time and now, there's a point where I also kind of lack some structure, but I always come back to that moment because that structure, that freedom to, path to freedom within structure, within high performance, something I look back to when I'm not doing that. A lot of times when I sometimes get distracted or do certain things, everyone does. No one is perfect. Even the biggest CEOs, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, no one's perfect. I come back to a moment of structure within my life, right? And a lot of times I think what happens with people is the way you change yourself. So far, I've experienced it in two ways. Either you feel so much pain within you, like there's pain within you, whether you are procrastinating, whether you're not taking your life seriously, whether you think you're not taking your life seriously, whether you feel like a sort of laziness, you don't feel motivated, you feel like you don't have a passion in life. You feel like, what's my passion? I don't know what to do. What am I going to do, right? You feel so much pain in you, so much pain that you're like screaming, I want this pain to be taken away. I want this suffering to be taken away from me, which makes you take action on your life. I feel like that's number one. I feel like number two is, and it might be a combination of two, when you see someone else who's living the life that you want to live. When you see someone else who inspires you so much to a point of like, what Jesus, this guy, this girl, this woman, this man has got so much. What's my excuse? I don't have an excuse then, right? If they're doing this is an inspiration for me to take my life into my own hands, just like they've taken their life into my own hands. So I guess for me, it was a combination of both. Maybe it was more on this, inspirational side when that webinar, that meeting happened, right? That masterclass happened. But yeah, I can kind of attribute a lot of that to who I am right now today.
Really, something to be really thankful to Richard. He was like, he was the guy at that time, at that moment. Like he was so, he was giving in each video of his, he was giving so much value to us. Like each time even right now, I look at some past videos. There's so many values I didn't still have and still get. One thing that was beneficial for me was the faith one and the journaling one. Like I really love that thing. Like he, boosted that thing in me that you should always keep faith no matter what happened in your life. Like he faced so many things in his life and he still believed in God. And the second is health. Health is like, yep.
Yes.
So one thing is that my third question for you is like, you are doing software engineering. You were studying software engineering. And now you are taking goal completely opposite to software engineering. You're going at finance. So how does this change happen? How and why you selected to pursue your, whole life and you want to invest yourself into financial in finance, and why do you want to become a financial coach?
Thank you for asking that. It's a great question. So
it's of your niche. Afterwards, of your niche.
Yes, it is my niche. Well, first of all, let me go into a little background of when I went to college and how did I choose to do software engineering. So I in college, in high school, I was at this point, I was maybe a B student. I was kind of in that B, A minus range, and I didn't get scholarships. I wanted to get scholarships. I applied for some scholarships. There was this full ride scholarship that I applied to twice, and I got rejected from it. Now I remember when I got rejected, there was like a whole piece of me that left because from earlier, I think when I moved to America, I started to grasp the importance of financial education, really. Because my parents, my dad was working a physical job. My mom was not working at the time. She was with me and my brother at home. And a lot of times what I would do, is when talking to kids at school, these kids, were living in at a time which I thought this was. They're having everything perfect in their life. Their parents are having great jobs. Their parents are driving great cars, Mercedes, BMW. My parents can't afford that for our family at this stage. Back when 10 years ago, why is this? Like, why are they so? I felt like so behind in terms of finances. Like, why is their family so ahead? Their family can afford all these things, and my family cannot. Because my dad has an engineering degree. My dad is a mechanical engineer. He finished the degree there, but right now he doesn't work that. He works a different job because, number one, he's not fluent in English, and his degree is not certified here. It's not recognized here in the United States. I kept asking myself, the only reason why these people are ahead of me financially is because they had luck. They had luck that they were born in the United States, which has a high standard. And they went to the United States and they went to schools here and they had great jobs. Now that I think about it, it was maybe a source of jealousy, as a kid, maybe. It really sparked me into looking at financial education. What are these people doing that I'm not doing? The position where I can have abundance and wealth in my life, not just in terms of money and finances, but I actually have passion within me that sparks some sort of financial education, which leads me to freedom. The way I see it is financial education is going to lead you to freedom. And that's the number one thing that I value, other than love and love, within ourselves, is freedom. Freedom to be able to do anything really that you want and to pursue your passions. I think financial education, financial journey leads to freedom. In a sense that, so that's when I was, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I was, looking at YouTube. I was looking at financial education. I was looking at what stocks to invest. I was looking at how to save, how to budget. How do wealthy people think about investing? How do they think about how to make more, how to invest, how to have abundance in their life? And they think differently, right? You have to really get into their minds of what are they thinking and what are they doing. So when I went to college, one of the things was I didn't get scholarships because I wasn't a great student. So I didn't want to pay. I didn't want to go into debt because at this point I knew that going to debt for college it might not be the greatest thing. I was like, I do not want to be going in debt. If I'm going to be in debt, I'm going to be so scared. Number one thing I don't want to do, I do not want to go into debt to take out student loans to go to school because it was so expensive. And I counted on this scholarship. It was supposed to be a full ride scholarship at a place where I work. They provided a scholarship. For people who might not understand, full ride means your whole tuition, your whole college. I'm talking tuition, professors. I'm talking meals. I'm talking housing is paid. Like everything's paid. You have no costs. I was really counting on that scholarship. I really tried, but I didn't get it. I didn't get the scholarship. So then I chose to go to a school where I can afford it. I was a commuter. So what a commuter means is I went to school. The school is about 30 minutes away from me, the university, my college. Then I came back home in the same day. I didn't sleep there. I didn't stay there because I didn't want to pay for studying there, student loans. I didn't want to put my family into financial burden. My family helped me because this school that I went to is a state school where in the state where I live, so the tuition was lower, and that school I can afford. So number one, the school that I chose is because I can afford it, and I'm very grateful that my family has helped me with that. Then when I chose what to study, I always said I always loved math, always. But I didn't want to go into pure math. I knew that I didn't want to go into teaching math, like being a professor at a math university. I didn't want to do that. I went into engineering, but I was undeclared engineering. I didn't know what kind of engineering I wanted to do for first year. The second year, I chose computer science. I chose software engineering because it incorporates math, it incorporates logical thinking and reasonable thinking, but also practicality, being very practical of how this can help me create programs, create things, create user interfaces, create web applications. And it really, because right now, when you think about it, my man, like every freaking industry needs a software engineer. Almost every industry needs a software engineer. Banking industry, education industry, marketing industry, even the government needs software engineers because everything's moving to online and technology already is. So that's the way I thought about it, software engineers. So I guess that's a good question to incorporate, right? I was always into finances, but in college I picked software engineering because I like math and I like the practicality.
Really awesome, bro. Like, seriously. So my next question to you, Stefan, is like how you handle expectation and pressure. Like you only said, I remember that you are the first one in your family who is going to university to continue your further studies. So like I know like even your parents have some expectation towards you, and your family has some, gave you some pressure, different kind of expectational pressure, There's some burden on your shoulders that you're facing all day, every day when you are studying and when you are, pursuing your dreams also. So how do you face those situations? Like, how do you handle this kind of stuff?
I see. Very, I love that you keep asking great questions to me about me and my life. And when you ask these questions, I really think about my life. So thank you. Well, first of all, I'll be very honest. All the expectations my parents have of me, and they're very clear on communicating this, is for me to finish school and get a job and live normally. I think the reason why this is this is what my parents really want. My parents want for me to have a decent job where I can live normally, I can have kids, I can marry, and they'd be very, very happy within themselves if this happens, right? Part of this is my parents had to give up everything. My parents had to quit their jobs and come here. My mom didn't work for a couple of years. My dad had to work a different job because he didn't know English. Even though my dad had a university degree, my mom had it was like an associate degree. My parents gave up everything, their whole life, for me to come here to have an opportunity of a lifetime where I'm at, to be the best version of myself, right? And then that's the only expectation they have, and they'd be very happy to see me go through that. I'll be also very honest on my end. I think that those are low expectations. I think that's just going to school and just getting a job, and that's it. That's like your whole life, and you live up, the society norms. I think that's an average life. I think that's a life of being averagism, life of predictability, where everything's predictable. Like you already know what's going to happen. You already know like what's going to happen until you're 60. In a general sense of your routines. What's the point then? Like, what's the point in everything so predictable? Everything's so, you might get too boring. You might get to repetitiveness. Listen, it's very unfortunate that a lot of people are living this way. It is very, very, very unfortunate. I don't want to feel sorry for anyone. I don't want to feel sorry for everyone. But what I keep seeing is a lot of people have this repetitiveness within themselves. So those are really the expectations that I have. My parents, I told you, the expectations that they have for me. I'm putting greater expectations on myself because I know I'm meant to do greater things for me and to carry my family legacy. I didn't mention this, but the first contact of my family moving to the United States is my great-grandfather. My great-grandfather in 1952, I believe, 53. He was in World War II. He was captured by Germans as a worker, as a slave. After the war was over, he was given an opportunity with the Red Cross, the Red Cross organization, to move to the United States. That's how he moved. He established his own life here. He was a carpenter. He was a great man, hardworking man. Sometimes I think about him and the legacy that he instilled, that he decided to move here to continue our family legacy. And just the torch, right? The torch of this family legacy is passed on to me and my brother. Really do the best things that we want for ourselves, not just for our family, but for ourselves. But the expectations that I have, that's why I keep pushing myself forward. And that's why I'm a lot into self-development, because I already know that I'm going to exceed my parents' expectations of just getting a software engineering job or whatever it might be. I already know that. So then, okay, if I already know that, what's the next step forward, right? And that's why I set goals for myself and really push myself to exceed forward.
And like, seriously, I have seen so many times that family, and I've listened of so many friends of mine and so many people I've listened to, like they say, like, I've got this pressure, like, but my parents, and I've heard as your parents say that they don't have any expectations from us. They just want that we live our life, casually. We live our life the more relaxing way we can, easily, not don't take that much pressure on yourself. But we who wants to, what to say, like, we who want to travel more, want to experience more, will take that pressure, again and again, just to make ourselves satisfied that, yeah, we did something that no one else did. That's why I guess you are going for the financial coach. That's why I'm going for this thing. But we are privileged from God himself that he gave us such wonderful people as our parents, that they didn't expect anything from us. They just want that we can get a wonderful and easy life, so that I or you and your family can live a happy life in future. They don't face the same thing that your parents have faced. That's what I feel like. So, Stefan, my next question for you is, like, you said that you have joined a high performance training program. Like, I remember I saw that on Facebook article. I'm like, Stefan joined high HTTP. Like, he's one of the first guy who joined in our group, who joined HTTP program. Like, so what's your, I really wanted to have one conversation with Richard in the future one day when I have that kind of followers with me, that he can really come and talk. So I want to ask with you, like, how is your experience? Like, Richard, you as a YouTuber that we see each and every day on YouTube channel, each weekend he come and give a free session about something. And you, who is like in his coaching program, who he meets once a week, like have a live session with you guys, talk to you guys. So who is Richard you according to you, and how good is his program that you are attending?
Well, Richard is a high performer, right? Just like the name of his program, high performance. He's someone that sticks up to his word. He's someone that speaks, portrays himself, right? The way he speaks is the way he acts. There's no misalignment, right? If he's going to say one thing, he's going to do it, right? And he's really that man of integrity, of honesty, of being the best version of himself, because that's what God, and a man of faith, that's what God has given to him. The fruits that God has given to him, he just feels so privileged. He just feels so motivated to bring back even more fruits that the God has given to him, because that's really what what God has provided him to do. My experience has been incredible. My experience has really been incredible. I'm a very analytical and engineering and mathematical person, where I think really what helped me, I saw this behind the scenes. I call this behind the scenes work. What it really takes to be a high performance, whether you're running a business, whether you're a university student, whether you are helping a non-volunteering organization, all the things behind the scenes that a lot of people don't talk about. Sort of with social media, usually the way it works is you kind of have this shield. When you portray your social media, there's all this backstory, right? How do you feel when you post something? You don't say that. Sometimes you don't say how you feel when you really make a post. Just because you want to make a post, whether it's likes, whether it's you trying to attract more people to your business, whatever it might be. But something really saw was behind the scenes of what it takes. And really what it takes is how successful people think. Because Richard has had great mentors, multi-million-dollar mentors. he really transferred what he saw, what he learned from his mentors he really transferred that to his students and to someone like, us. What he transferred to something like us. And what I do now as a financial coach, I transfer that same vision in a financial education perspective as a mentor to my students, the people who I talk to. So it's really that behind the scenes of, there's a lot of packed things there. And I recommend, I recommend it to everyone, but I can't even name how many things, right? There's a sense of urgency of how successful people think, and that everything has to get done. Well, not everything, but some things have to get done today. There's no tomorrow. You gotta feel like you gotta really think that there's no tomorrow. You can't just delay things off. It's gotta be done today. If it doesn't get today, it's gonna impact my family. This is gonna impact my vision. This is gonna impact my goals. How am I gonna feel if I don't do this? There's certain people that think, right? If you don't, there's certain businessmen that this is discussed in the program. When they feel like procrastinating, I think one of them is I think Badros. He's a great fitness guy. When he feels procrastinating, he feels like there's like a murderer that's going to murder his family. He puts himself in a position where if he doesn't do something that he said to himself he'll do, something's going to happen to his family. So he better make sure to do it. There's accountability, and finding an accountability partner and having that accountability within you. Within a group of friends, and really being vulnerable about sharing your story, sharing your vision, because vulnerability helps everybody. When you're open, when you're vulnerable, because other people connect to it. Think about it. If you confess up to something to a large group of people, 99% of the time, there's someone in that group who feels the same way, but they were scared to admit it. And they're thankful to you that you said it. And they're like, oh my God, thank you so much for saying this. I feel the same way. So a lot of great things that are packed into this. What I'm actually doing today, I'm going back and I'm rewatching all the things. I'm starting back from day one because I want to have that implementation structure. I want to solidify that. I want to make it even greater and push me towards to go out through the entire program even again. So that's a lot of great things there.
Yeah. Richard is a great guy. Wish to join him soon. Like, I wish to join him soon too. But the time difference is something that is very tough for me. Mm-hmm. So, Stefan, I know I've taken a lot of your time. I will take a few more minutes of you. So before,
ask anything.
I want to ask you, what do you want to tell Stefan of 15 or 16 years old who is, growing and, have not that kind of tension with him, who is not thinking like the Stefan is thinking right now? What you will tell to yourself, to your younger self?
Great question, my man. Great question looking back in their past. I love this. What I would tell a 15-year-old Stefan, this is a little more sarcastic, but to invest in Bitcoin. Invest in Bitcoin. Jokes on the side, right? As financial education, looking more into investing, looking more into wealth building, number one, from my financial aspect, because that is going to lead to freedom. That is going to lead to freedom to later years in his life. And that is going to that interest is going to compound so much, where Steph is not even going to realize at what point he is down the road. I want to tell Stefan to dream bigger dreams, and Stefan to take bigger risks. To take bigger risks in his life, because Stefan is 15 years old. What has he got to risk? He's got nothing to risk. What has he got to risk? The only thing he's got to risk is fear of failure. So what? If you fail, you always know that you can always go back, right? If you try one thing and if you fail, all right, well, worst case scenario, I can go back and nothing's going to happen. Nothing is going to happen. I can just go back to this thing, whether it's school, whether it's a job, whatever it might be. To take more risk, and something that I think Gary Vee said, again, Gary Vaynerchuk, something that resonates with me. I'm about to graduate college. When you graduate college, when you graduate school, when you're young, now is the time to not go the safe route. Now is the time to explore, to take risks, because you can afford so. Not just because you don't have a family, right? When you're young, you don't have a family. You don't have obligations. You don't have expectations from people. But in a sense that when you get older, and the older you get, you have certain routines that are harder to break. I'll be very honest. I listen, there's no age limit, right? Whether you're 15 or you're 80, you can achieve your goals. I truly believe that, right? But at 80, when you're 80, you have certain routines within your life that are so hard to break, right? You have certain rituals, you have certain beliefs, limiting beliefs that are so hard to break. When you're young, it's not so hard to break them because you haven't had so much experience, and that's why a lot of times we see a lot of this positive energy within young people that maybe we don't see within older people because they have gone through so much. In a sense that to take more risks, to dream bigger dreams, to take more action, to connect to more people who he wants to become. And I'm talking more people who are running multi-million dollar businesses, to ask them why they're running their businesses, what makes them excited waking up every day. Besides the money, what are they happy about in life? Why are they doing the things they're doing? And really see behind the scenes also what I'm doing right now. Getting a mentor. I think getting a mentor early in my stage is something that I should have done. Getting a mentor that's really going to show me the way, a proven way for me to follow and to really be of my guidance, right? A lot of things there, man. Taking more action, not procrastinating, taking more risks, educating myself more on finances and investing in wealth building for long term. And getting a mentor, right? Getting a mentor. So all of these things, I think I mentioned like 7 things. All of these things, you can spend like hours talking about it. Like getting a mentor can be an episode by itself. Thinking about financial education, episode by itself. All of these things can be episodes by itself.
So, Steph, like wonderful. Like we really have a long conversation today and we talked about so many things. So my last question for you is that what is the topic about your financial stuff? What is your coaching? What value do you give to your students? And what is your like whole subject of interest? Like what do you want to teach to others? Like
wow.
That's.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that question. And a great question, and a question to which there's no direct answer. But something I look into really talking to people is building wealth, generational wealth long term. So whether that's within themselves and their families, building generational wealth and long-term wealth for themselves and their families, really, in that aspect. Some people, if you're listening to this, you might be in debt. You might be in debt. You might be you're owed so much money that you don't know where you're stuck at, right? In which position you're stuck at. And I just want to tell you that there is a way out. There is hope. There is a way out. Whether that's through mentorship, through coaching, through educational platforms online. There is a way out. I've known multiple people who have gotten away from it, whether that's debt. Some also people, they don't know. They're like, well, what do I invest in? I have some money saved up. What do I invest in? That is also something. Those are great questions that I love to talk to my students and the people in my community. Long-term generational wealth, what to invest in for the long term. If you're in debt, how to get out of that, and then how to transition that to never be in debt again, and transition into building, wealth for long term, where you never have to worry about finances again. You never have to worry about money again, right? One of the things that's how I call my program, Never Worry About Money Again Financial Literacy Program. Talking about financial literacy and how that can lead to freedom for yourself, how that's going to impact your family. In that aspect. So all these things combined, there's not a specific thing I can point to, but all these things combined, they all lead into financial literacy for someone who has never given financial literacy, because unfortunately, it is not taught in schools enough. It is not in schools and universities. And that is something that I found within me, really sharing that vision, that passion, and that mission of what I'm really here for, to impact and serve those who were maybe never given financial education, and provide them with those steps.
Wow. So when you are starting this thing, like, what is the day that your financial coaching will start? Like, when I can join? Like, I want to ask this personally.
Well, the good question is, it's already started. It's awesome. Already started. So you can find me at Stefan_finance on Instagram. You can type in my name, Stefan Vukovic, Vukovic on Facebook, and connect to me there. As well as Clubhouse too, a new app that's in the way. So anytime, feel free to reach out, whether, to talk about anything, whether you want to ask about finances or not, or, high performance, or whether you're stuck at something, feel free to reach out to me, Aman, and I'll be very helpful, and I'll be very glad to see if I can help you in any sort of way.
That's it, Stefan. We have a really great conversation today. So if you have any question for me, for me, then I would love to answer. Other than that, I think we are done. I think we have went through your kid to your teens to your 20s. We have gone to each stage of your life, and we have seen how you have grown yourself, how you are what you are today, and how much hardship you have faced, how much hard work you have done for yourself, not for anyone, but for yourself, and how much you are proud of yourself where you are right now. So,
Aman, thank you so much for this interview, for this podcast, for this, opportunity of a lifetime to share my story. Now that I think about it, I haven't shared my story much. And thank you for I'm so privileged and blessed to have someone like you in my life that has given me the opportunity to do so, and if we can impact even one person, even one person, man, if we can impact one person who's listening to this, in whatever way they might feel, right? Whether that's they either feel down or they feel in our shoes, or, certain issues that they're going with. If we can help one person, I think that our mission is accomplished. I think that we have accomplished our mission, right? Even one. And then I think also our mission is going to be impacting as many people as we can, and as many people that we can reach and help in this sense. If we can get a one, I say that's mission accomplished. And I'm looking forward to your podcast. I'm looking forward to seeing your podcast, listening to your podcast on Spotify. Spotify's I guess it's the number one podcast platform. That's where I listen to podcasts.
It will be on both. It will be on YouTube as well as on Spotify. That's what I have planned. And who knows? But seriously, what you have said, that even if this video impact one life also, if just one life, that would be way too much for me. Because I think if this video did what it needed to be do, that's it. I started this thing just to tell people about different stories, about different people, about their stories, how hardship that you are not alone in this world who are facing this. There are many others.
Yes.
You just need to stand and take your own, place. You just need to fight for yourself. You need to do hard work. You won't get anything easily in your life.
Yes.
God has made everyone equal. If you trust him, if you don't trust him, but he has made everyone equal, and he has given you chances. He has given you skills. You just need to find your own skills. I have.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
In our group, many people have found their own skill. Many people know what they need to do in future. So in the end, I just want to say it's really been a great talk to you, man. You are really amazing. You are a motivation person for me. I really get motivated from you time to time. I talk to you. I share my things with you. I share so many stuffs with you, and you always listen, and you always give your opinion points on that. And you are the most straightforward person I've ever met in my life. You never hide anything from me. And if I am wrong, you help me out. If I want help, you help me out. And you never say that, Aman, this is good or this is bad. You just say that okay, this is fine. I think there should be more stuff. You've never been like, oh, this is amazing. You're not that person like who will say that everything is good, everything is fine. You will say like, this is wrong. You need to improve yourself in this. It's like, man, this is an amazing conversation, and I'm just looking forward for this video. I am the one who is making this, but I'm looking forward for this video. Like, I am really super excited with this one, and I'm hoping to have like more conversation with you in future. Like we can do with, if someone else also come, we can have a double-side conversation. So that would be amazing.
Yeah. Thank you again. Thank you so much for being such a great host. Thank you for being such a great host and being a great interviewer. I love when people ask me these questions, which make me think. That's how I appreciate it, and I know I love that. The only question I have for you is when we're doing this again. Would love to come on here again and share the rest of my story. Will really impact people in who are listening to this as we progress. As our stories get written, we share more and more of our story. So with this excited things, I'm sure we're gonna figure something out.
I would say soon, bro. I would say soon, because as my first maid who I interviewed, and I created this first video, I would say that soon, because this is the first video, and this time I won't stop till, I don't know, maybe till there is nothing more, till everyone in this world are motivated and they don't need this kind of video anymore. Maybe that time we'll stop. But till that time, I'm not going to stop. Even if I have 1 subscriber till the end of my time, even if I don't earn a single penny from this kind of videos, I will still make this kind of video just to make sure that people get to hear from different people about different, not only from famous people, from younger, maybe someone whom we don't know. Just like me, who no one knows me except for my friend and family. No one knows me. So maybe they will get some, basic idea who I am. I am motivated. I am a person who is driven towards my goal. You are a person who is driven towards your goal. So maybe, who knows, we can have, another conversation in a big room, just like having a 2 big microphone, not this kind of setup, but this is like dream come true for me. And thank you very much, Steph, for
looking forward to it, man. And soon looking forward to speaking to you next time. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, bro.
Thank you guys to everyone who's been listening.